Thank you. I'd first like to begin this evening with some introductions, and first and foremost, of course, is Mr. Eddie Radio. Thank you for your words of blessing. Appreciate it. Thank you. We also have some other dignitaries here. Maria Whitehorn, our Speaker of Osage Nation Congress. We have some Congress members here as well. Angela Pratt. Also, Otto, here you go, I saw you earlier. Hamilton. Thank you for being here. Really do appreciate it. There are also some Osage Nation Utility Authority board members here with me. I work with. We're behind this event. Mr. Gary Berg is our Vice Chair. Thank you, Gary, for being here. And of course, last but not least, of course, our man that keeps us straight in all our business activities and notes, Mike Wellner, our Secretary. Thank you, Mike, for being here. And I want to thank all of you as constituents, public members of the public, businesses, whoever you represent. You understand, or you may not, about why we're here, but it's a very important time and an opportunity for us to understand a little bit about what broadband is. The Osage Nation Utility Authority, ONUA, is a regulatory body created 2 years ago by Congress, and our scope is to oversee electricity, public utility services, including electricity, natural gas, water, wastewater, and even telecommunications. And we believe that broadband is within that scope of our responsibilities. The Osage Nation Utility Authority is not an LLC or anything like that, but we are a regulatory body, and it's our job to help the Osage Nation, the executive office, through many of the challenges that they have that may relate to those public service areas. Eddie, I forgot to mention and recognize you as representing the Osage Nation Energy Service. I'm not sure what your title is there officially, but I know that you're part of that board, that LLC, and I thank you for being here. I must acknowledge the executive office and Congress for understanding and listening to us as we talk about broadband to fund this study. We call it a feasibility study, because we believe there is a great opportunity here that we face and have been facing for some time now here within Osage County. And that's one reason why we wanted to have this forum, to reach out to the public and share with the public what our vision is, what we see as the potential for our community. And this potential involves everybody. It involves from everyone from our babies all the way to our seniors. It's for everyone because of the opportunities and that are available through a reliable and a fast broadband service. Many of us may believe that, well, we already have broadband. Well, what is broadband? By the end of this evening, you're going to have a much better appreciation for what that is. And through this awareness, this session this evening, I hope that you will help spread the word and help educate your families, your businesses of this potential and what we are facing. Osage County is a beautiful, beautiful place. You know, I live in Arizona, and I get back here pretty regular now with my responsibilities here with the Osage Nation Utility Authority. And one of the things that I love to see, which I have to be reminded of, is the beauty that we have here in this part of the country. And the beauty demonstrated itself this evening when, as I arrived here, when I was watching the sun go down. We have some of the most beautiful sunsets here that I've seen in the world. I've been to California and of course the Southwest, and it's a very beautiful, pristine thing to see, to be a part of. So I think that, you know, as we think about where we've come, who we are as a people, as a community, there's much more there's much more for us. There's much more opportunity. There's much more development that we can make our lives better for and our families. It becomes a quality of life issue. You know, the possibilities that broadband brings are endless. You know, we all have cell phones somewhere. These cell phones, these smartphones, you know, they're like computers today. And just about anything that you could possibly imagine to want to know about or learn about, you can access via the internet, the World Wide Web. But you know what? Here in Osage County, we don't have that kind of service. We don't have the reliable kind of service, and in some places, we don't have any service at all. And that's what we want to change. We want to be able to make this service very vital, very sound and strong, so that we can begin to develop and use that infrastructure, use that resource to better our communities and to better our families. You know, when I come from a public utility background. I'm an HR director for a utility company in the Southwest, and before that I was in charge of, I was a safety director. And one of the things that stands out in my mind for this infrastructure, broadband, is just that safety, public safety. You know, we have emergency responders, fire, police, EMS that cover Osage County. And because we don't have services in some of those areas, their safety is jeopardized. Not only for them, but for the people that live in those communities where we don't have that kind of service. So that's just one aspect of broadband and what it can bring to communities. Obviously, economic development, job opportunities that it can bring, entrepreneurism, young people that, as we know, are, whether they're gamers or whether they're going to school, this is how they live. They live by their fingertips, and they surf, they do the research, they talk to each other, they talk to their parents, us, and this is how we, in some cases, I hate to say, communicate. It shouldn't be the only way that we communicate, but it definitely is. And we know that when we don't get a response or there is no service, then we get a little emotional sometimes. We get carried away with that, and it can create problems. We want to change that. E-medicine, you know, broadband in a lot of places where they have reliable, good service, patients can be monitored from the hospital at their home. It's happening right now. We can do that here. You know, we do have service here in Osage County. We do have service, don't get me wrong, but we don't have it everywhere. And some of the service providers that we have are some of the big companies like AT&T and Verizon. You know, they're here. I'm a Verizon customer. I have service. I have pretty good service actually right here right now. But you know what? They're only going to invest where the low-hanging fruit is. They're only going to go where they need to, and they don't need to go to Gray Horse, for example, or to some of these more rural areas where there's no service. They're only going to go to those areas where they know there's customers, okay? Whether it be broadband, whether it be voice services, what have you. They're in it for their return on their investment. So they're here. But that revenue that they generate, that goes to some corporation in a faraway land. It's not staying here in Osage County. And we want those businesses to thrive. We want those businesses that are here now to thrive using this infrastructure. We want to attract people here. We want our relatives to come home. We want for Pawhuska, for Osage County, we want all these communities to begin to grow. We want our children to stay here, and this can be done. If you think about it in terms of electricity, and when electricity came to this community, or any community for that matter, it was a big deal. not having electricity, not having public utilities, not having public utility service. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine not having electricity? Some of you may have been part of it like that for a little while. But if you think about it in those terms, electricity came to us and then expanded. It expanded from one community to another, to the next town, and it just grew and grew and grew. And so now we kind of think of electricity as something that we take for granted. And we're seeing the same thing now with broadband. We're seeing that evolution. We're seeing that opportunity, that potential that broadband brings, because it is that business. It is the kind of infrastructure that we need to develop it to grow. As I said before, there are already providers here. And if we do not do this, somebody else is. This is a great opportunity for the Osage Nation to partner with other businesses, with other folks, to make this happen. We're looking at this in a phased-in approach. Obviously, this isn't going to happen overnight. But there are plenty, and I underscore that word, federal dollars and grants and low-interest loans that are available to rural communities, to tribal communities that are available right now for us to use to begin building that infrastructure. So yes, it will take some investment, but we have that opportunity to use some of the federal resources that are available to us as well. Osage Gaming has been very good to Osage County. It's been good to our members, our citizens. And that's growing. And that's a good thing. It's allowed us to develop in a lot of different ways. But we should be thinking about other ways of diversifying our business. And you cannot just rely on gaming alone. That's a gamble. That's what gaming is. But if we look at infrastructure, and if you look at the potential, if you look at what you're building a community with this infrastructure. You're building a nation. That's what we are doing. And again, we want our people to stay here, and we want to attract that development of our land, our people. There's a lot of things that we could talk about here, and some of the presenters that are here are going to be describing a little more detail some of the things I'm talking about. So I'm not going to step on their toes anymore. I'm going to shut up before I continue to speak and take up all your time. So I appreciate you being here. I really do. It's good, and again, please share what you learned tonight and understand that this is going to happen sometime, somewhere, and we're trying to put the planning stages in motion, as Mr. Reddick pointed out. There's a future. We have to be visionary about who we are as a people. And at some point in time, we're going to have to ask ourselves that question: are we ready to do this? Are we ready to commit to make this happen? It won't happen overnight, but we can do it in phases. So thank you. With that,